next session is for you. I have asked our RAAV partners that were not on the formal part of the agenda to have some time to speak to you about what they've been doing, what's new, and Kim Brace is here, and he's going to talk to you first. And then when he gets through, if any of you have anything that you wanted to ask or you wanted to share, that's what we'll do in the very last session of the day. So without further ado, here's Kim Brace.
Thank you, Ernie. My name is Kim Brace. I'm president of a company called Election Data Services. And Election Data Services, we've been collecting data since 1977. We keep track of what kind of voting equipment is used in every single county in the country, and we have since 1980. So we're the ones that produce the various maps that show you what has taken place at old times or in new times in terms of different kinds of voting equipment. And we collect county level data of election returns around the nation. We've been the contractor for the EAC for their election day surveys. We also do redistricting all around the country and have since 1979. And so we do a lot of different things in that side. But we also end up doing a map. And you have on your back there a copy of the 2012 poster that I brought for everybody. It's free, it normally costs, but they're giveaways. I gotta get them out of the, I'm not picking up. There we go. Well, we'll do it this way. So they're free for you, and we'll be able to you can have them for your wall soon. But if it concerns elections and it concerns data, like our name, we're probably somewhat involved with it. So today's information, I want to give you some basic election administration facts and some voting equipment usage facts. Basically, from an election administration standpoint, diversity is the underpinning of elections in this country. You all know this, but I'm going to go over some data for you to see. Indeed, when we start off with talking about elections, we have 50 different state election laws. But of course, we have over 3,000 counties in the nation that many times interpret those election laws sometimes differently within the state. But we also have to deal with differences up in New England. In New England, they don't have counties for dealing with elections. They have townships, over 1,600 townships in New England. But we also have to worry about the states of Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, because they too have townships that run the elections. So overall, what we're talking about, and there's over 5,000 townships in those three states, overall we're talking about 10,072 jurisdictions in this country that conduct elections and keep track of voting equipment and all of that. And that's what we do. And so we have a massive database that keeps up with this kind of information. And as such, we end up looking at a whole bunch of different things. Importantly, the most key thing is size is a critical thing. So if you looked at the mean size of jurisdictions in the nation in terms of registration, how many registered voters do you think is on an average jurisdiction in this country? Mean. Half above, half below. What would be the number? 1,500? Almost. Not bad. 1,492. Very good. Most people go way, way higher than that, I'll tell you that. Oh, really, huh? Yes. Just remember Christopher Columbus Day, I mean, come on now. Yes. But over a third of the nation's counties have fewer than 10,000 registered voters in them. Over a third. Half of the nation's counties have less than 16,000 registered voters. Half of the jurisdictions. There's only 403 jurisdictions in this country that have more than 100,000 registered voters.
What was that number?
403. have more than 100,000 registered voters. There's only 15 counties in this country that have more than 1 million registered voters. We hear about all these big ones, but they are unique in that they are a small number of jurisdictions. The smallest county in this country is Loving, Texas. It has 123 registered voters. The largest is Los Angeles, 4.7 million registered voters. It takes 947 of the smallest counties just to get up to where Los Angeles's total is. Okay? You can look at these things a number of different ways, and what we do is we look at both the number of registered voters and the number of jurisdictions. And what you can see in this table is, in fact, you've got 44% of the jurisdictions have less than 1,000 registered voters in each of them. But they only amount to 0.8% of all the registered voters. So what we have is we have most election officials are in real small jurisdictions. 76% are under 10,000, but that's only 7% of the registered voters. So we have a real dichotomy here in terms of election administration. Most of you are large. That is not like your brethren. And that's an important fact to keep in mind. So elections are run in small jurisdictions in this country with small staff, many of which are part-time or perform other functions. Reliance upon the vendors is very much the key in a lot of jurisdictions. And so we have kept track of what kind of voting equipment is used around the country. And we have put that up as part of this project with the EAC on the internet so that anybody can go and see it. And you have in the back there, there's a little half sheet of paper, so you don't have to write this down, but you can take one of these and you can go to there and see all of what I'm going to show you. This is what the opening screen looks like, and you have the states on the left-hand side. You can select within the state and look at the individual county information and what kind of information. You've got down at the bottom there, that's actually been moved up to the top now. You can select that and it'll propagate this form. So you can see all sorts of information on individuals because we want you to be able to use that information if you want to contact other jurisdictions. You can do that in terms of looking at the type of voting equipment, all different types that we have and which ones have accessibility features. And you can select accessible machines and all of that. We are right now, and I'm going to show you because I'm going to flip over, you'll be able to, and you can, in fact, today, go over and there's the site live. And if you can, as I said, you can select any jurisdiction, select any state, look in within that state, and it'll pull up the information that we have on that jurisdiction, both names and types of equipment, all of that information there. But it also has a reporting function now, which is new. What this does is it then opens up a new browser page. It should open up a new browser page. Okay. This is the way that you can get information out of the system. It has a lot of different data items across as columns, and you can use the filters on the left-hand side to select anything that you're interested in. If I want to look at just the jurisdictions, oh, I was hitting the wrong button. Say I want to just look at Colorado jurisdictions. I can apply that, and then all your selection gets updated right there. If I want to look at, and you'll notice that in this information, you have both past information and present. The other thing to keep in mind is up on the right-hand side, this is a count of number of records that are in the system. That's always being updated as you make selections. So let's say that we just want to look at the current ones, not the past use of different voting equipment. So if we go up here to equipment status and select equipment status, we want to look at just the present ones, not the past, and only the present ones show up. We can end up doing searches on this and just how many registered voters there are. That ended up bailing out here for some reason. There we go. It gives you the capability of, on a sliding bar, say that you want to look at how many people are between over 26,000 and 400,000 or whatever, and apply that filter, and it'll update so that only on the right-hand side those jurisdictions in Colorado that have current equipment is showing. You can sort this list any which way that you want by just clicking on the top column. All of that data would be sorted. And any of the equipment that they have, be it absentee equipment or in-person equipment, can be shown, and which ones have accessible information and accessible features. You can go and select on the accessibility features, and this one right now for Colorado just has the ones highlighted in dark colors. That's what's available in Colorado in terms of accessible features for those jurisdictions. So any of this kind of thing is searchable. You've got voting method, which is in fact whether or not it's in-person voting for polling places or accessible, or early voting, absentee, whatever is available in there. You can end up clearing the filters by either checking, doing the cross-check there, and now this is just showing present jurisdictions that are in this registration range all across the country. You see it's updated for all of that information. You can end up clearing the filter up on top by clearing all of it, and it goes back to what the overall sense is. So that you have all of that, and with this button, you can export 50 records of the system for your own use in terms of the information. So all of that is now available for anybody to make use of, and as I said, there is the information on how to get to it. If indeed you look at your own jurisdiction and you have an issue with any piece of data, you want it updated, send an email to login@Election Data Services, and we'll send you the password for your jurisdiction so you can go in and update it yourself on that side. The accessible features are all the pictures that are in Diane's book, so that we've made use of that so that you'll be able to see all of that and have more detailed information on those accessible features also. That's the kind of thing that we've now generated and put to use so that anybody can see all of this information and be able to make use of it yourself. If you're interested in jurisdictions that are in similar size to you, you want to see what kind of equipment they have, here's the tool. You can do that just like that. So, questions? Anybody? Good. Hopefully I explained it enough. go hit it, and by all means, send me an email if there's any issues or questions that you have. And if you want to change anything, let me know. All right?
Thanks,
Ernie?
Kim. Thank you. Okay, any of the RAAV partners that are still here, you have anything you want to add?
I want to give a couple of reports, and I want to thank Tom Hicks. Tom, would you wave or stand up for those who don't know Tom? Tom has been nominated to be one of the Democratic EAC commissioners. A couple of weeks ago at the NAS, National Association of Secretaries of State meeting, they dropped their position that the EAC should be abolished. And, right? And the Republican staff on elections announced that by the end of this year, there would be Republican names put up so that we would have a full commission. Some of us know it's been a long time coming. The other thing that I want to mention to people is a small group of us have started a process to get money from the federal government to do a number of things. I know people say, you want money from the federal government, you are crazy. I actually think, given what the Presidential Commission said, and given the reality that all of you deal with, it's only a matter of time before we can get an infusion of federal funds to keep a robust, healthy, and modern voting system for the whole country. I have a personal interest in seeing that research on accessibility continue, because accessibility is really a continuum. It's not a static state. Just like running elections is a continuum. There's always change. Some of us would like to see in this new pot of funds a category so that election officials who are wrestling with a problem can go to a university and say, here's the money, we want you to do a study on X for us. One example could be something that NASED is doing now on volunteer time, is seeing if they can develop a formula about the amount of space a county election office needs given the number of voters there. The idea here would be that, or any other problem, not only would there be solid factual data, but when you go to your funders, it's going to be harder for them to dismiss the research if it's coming from a respected university. So it's going to be a long time before we get the money. You know, it might be 2 years, might be 5. But you should be thinking about what, if you had federal dollars, what problems would you like them to address that is going to help you do a strong job, even stronger than you're doing right now. And if anybody wants to volunteer to be on the list as we move forward, I'd be glad to get your information.